Octane is able to set the tempo for the entire game.
Luminosity will do it! Luminosity will clutch up!
Enthusiast Gaming have announced that Methods and Octane will be joining in the starting lineup.
Clean sweep 4 from Enthusiast Gaming.
100 Thieves is announcing their newest pickup,
Does he get the
Octane.
Here comes Hero. 2 seconds! 2 seconds! And Octane with the ice!
Octane is 31 and 13, 32, 33! Octane!
So when it comes to Seattle, another thing for me, again, it's Octane as one of the greatest players to ever touch the sticks. He had a very, very hot Black Ops 4. I'm hearing nothing but fantastic things about him coming into Modern Warfare. One of the absolute keys to victory there for the entire Seattle lineup.
Well, high school I had my group of friends. I wasn't super outgoing. I kind of just went because I had to go. I enjoyed some classes, but it wasn't anything too crazy. I kind of just got through it, but I was playing Call of Duty at the same time, so it was kind of hard to balance schoolwork and committing time to Call of Duty as well. So I was still a pretty good student. I wasn't the worst, but I kind of just coasted through.
What's going on, guys? Finally starting YouTube.
The YouTube sniping thing was just something I enjoyed. You know, it gave me a reason to hop on every day after school, play for 12 hours. It was just like a really good time in my life. Good old days, as you could say. My dad instilled going to college into me at like a super young age, so that was always the career path that I had in mind. I was never really thinking I was going to do anything else, and then I kind of stumbled upon Call of Duty randomly, essentially. The original plan was to go to college and get some form of degree and go get a job, but thankfully that didn't happen. Envy was my first, I guess, big break, you could say. That came before Elevate, which was like when I ascended into being a pro, like at a top level. I was on a team with Aqua, Looney, and JCap, and that was the first time I played with like super high caliber pro players. That was during the Optic heyday of the Dynasty and AW, where they just beat everyone. We weren't really the best team in the game. We were probably around like top 6 to top 8 area. But the lessons that I learned on that team definitely helped me to this day. I was really young, so I didn't fully appreciate the criticism and like the guidance that they were trying to give me at the time. But that was my first like big break as a pro Call of Duty player.
Pushing through for Octane Gaming. Scump goes right by one, able to turn on Classic. Looks like Octane, though, able to get all 3 at the end. Octane goes huge for Luminosity, picks up all 3.
Luminosity was good. I really enjoyed the teams that I had there. I played there for, what, a year and a half? I think it was about a year and a half. Won 2 events, and again, I was playing with JCap. Again, that was the first time I teamed with him after Envy. And I was playing with Jerry, my current teammate, and John. And then in the previous years, it was Slacked, Nick, who was Classic, and Saints. Me and Jerry were on both of those rosters, and we meshed really well, so it was just championships were great.
We're about to have another lead chance. If Luminosity can get back inside, it's still contested.
They've got to go to a new hill. You've got to get Octane going towards this new heart. Look, everyone's ditching it. They're trying to rush towards Lower Street. It's going to be a foot race here. Classic charging on through. It's coming down to the wire. LG just a couple seconds away. Luminosity will do it. Luminosity will clutch up. And Luminosity will be your CWL Anaheim Open champions.
It's really refreshing to be on the other side of things because you know, competing against Optic for a while, I was on the other side of the green wall, and that is not a good place to be.
The Optic jump was nothing that I thought it was going to be. When I was originally approached, there was a set roster in mind, and there were some hoops that we would have to go through. So we had contingency plans about, you know, if we didn't get the 4th that we wanted and things like that. But we ended up getting none of the top 3 options that originally were planned upon, and I had already left the team. So I was assuming, you know, like, okay, I can leave, we'll have a comfortable 3rd option, which is still a phenomenal player. I'm not going to get into the names that we were thinking about, but I left the team, and what happened was we were going to acquire Methods and then trade him. That was going to give us the player that we wanted, but that trade never happened. So Methods ended up joining the roster, and the chemistry was really good out of game, actually. Like the team got along really, really well. We hung out, we went to the gym a lot, and just the atmosphere, not Call of Duty related, was really good, but we just were horrible at S&D and super underperformed. So the move, in hindsight, wasn't great, because when I left LG, we were a top 3 team all year. We made winners finals every event. So I thought that Krim, Seth, me, and then an ideal 4th would have been able to win tournaments.
But it's still LG holding. Now a 30-point advantage with 30 seconds remaining. But Octane wants none of it. Another monster 3-piece from him. There's the times for a multi-kill. He's building towards streaks as well. They keep pushing in. Octane just keeps cutting them down.
The quick flanking is just that. 1 down.
2 down, 2 remaining, and the dreams of complexity is gone as Octane snaps for the 3rd.
But that didn't happen.
The kill comes through for Shorty. All Shorty has to do is cover Zed. Zed messes the swing.
He does not angle.
He doesn't get it. The defeat comes through. Unilad eliminate Optic Gaming from MLG Anaheim 2018.
Just methods, he's going to be taken down. I think it's all over, Miles.
Berlin, Hadrian's, great walls that have fallen throughout history, and now you can add the green wall to that pile. Ladies and gentlemen, Optic Gaming have been eliminated from COD Champs.
I think it was about a week or two after Call of Duty Champs of World War II, and I was just, because we didn't know if it was going to switch to 4v4 or 5v5 at the time going into the next game. So I approached Krim, but I think he was like flying or something, so I didn't get a response. And then Jacob, who was the VP of Esports at Infinite at the time, who now works for 100 Thieves, he called me, and I was like going back and forth with him, thinking about options, and it was just like a normal conversation basically about, if it goes 5v5, who we want, this, that, and the other. About another 10 minutes go by, and Jacob calls Ian, and Ian picks up and tells Jacob that they didn't want me on the team anymore, and then Jacob called me back. This is all within a span of like 30 minutes. Jacob calls me back and says that I'm no longer on the team, basically. That's not ideal. After that, I DM Matt on Twitter, probably like 2 or 3 minutes afterwards, and I said I want to join the team, and he said, fantastic. And then like probably 2 days later, I was on the team. The original roster we had was me, Slasher, Kenny, Pharaoh, and Enable. We went to Vegas. We had super high expectations. We were the #1 team going into the year, projected #1 team. We bombed out. I think we got like a top 8 or something like that, or top 12. We got destroyed.
Final moments in. See you later. 100 Thieves, it's Sween. Sween with the 3-0. And they make it look easy, Joe.
We made a roster change. We swapped Pharaoh for Priesta, and we brought in Crowder. And that was when the year started to immediately take off. The first event after the roster change was Dallas, and Preston unfortunately got sick. So we could have, honestly, the way that we were playing, we might have been able to win that event. Luminosity was playing super well though, so it was like a weird situation there. But we got top 3 or top 4, I don't remember exactly. But then we went to London, we won that event.
Kenny though with the headshot, they're in the hard point. Just 2 more points needed. There's no contest, and we've got a new champion. It is 100 Thieves that do it.
Went to Anaheim, won that.
It's actually going to connect on 2. Slasher drops some. 5 seconds needed. Can 100 Thieves do it? Nobody there for Gen G, and that's back to back.
Had an unfortunate playoffs. I just think it was like it happens in Call of Duty. It was just an off event for all of us. We couldn't get into the game, which is weird to say as a pro player, but sometimes it happens. And then Champs, we lost first round of winners bracket and made the miraculous run to grand finals from losers bracket, which was definitely the highlight of my career so far.
It's all on this retake. Kenny's gonna catch him. Numbers 100 Thieves again. It all rests with Celium. He dropped, and the reverse sweep for 100 Thieves.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for 100 Thieves.
For a moment. Slasher was picking up the flank, but now he comes back in. Pristini takes down 2. It can all end here. It's on Octane. It's on Slasher. United do it. They go back to back.
In February 2019, Activision confirmed the franchise model that's traditionally seen in North American sports leagues. Activision Blizzard announced what's expected to be the final 3 teams for 2020, Chicago, London, and Seattle.
Zero things that I wanted to happen happened in the off season. So I had an idea in my head for a roster that I wanted. I was on the same page with all the players. Some things transpired. I didn't get that roster, but I'm happy to be in Seattle, and I think that we can get better from where we're at right now, for sure.
Double busted again, flurry of kill after flurry of kill. Octane now will join him on a 4. The man isn't slowing down.
28 kills, Ben. That's quite a few of them, and it's just every time.
I think that with the guaranteed contracts and the benefits for every team, you're more consolidated when you move, so you're all playing from the same place. Just the amount of money involved in the structure of the league, I think that Call of Duty Esports is starting to bump up in the ranks a little bit. And it feels good because I haven't been here from the beginning, but I've been here for a very, very long time. And I think that the exponential growth that COD has had from the last like 5 or 6 years to where it's at now is pretty cool. In Call of Duty, it's a lot less common to be on a roster for an extended period of time. There's only been a handful of players, think of like Formal, Seth, people like that have been on a roster for a really long time. You go Zoomer for FaZe, people like that. So, at least for me, the thing that stops me from burning out and playing is the fact that I've been on so many different teams. It gives me so many different things to play for, and it's something new every single time. Take my Heart Thieves team last year, for example. It was an entire organization and fan base and the hype around winning. So that just motivated me every day to improve. And then this year, I have all of Seattle behind me now. And it's just, every time I go to a new team, it just gives me something else to play for. I want to prove people wrong. And if I have to, I've done it my whole life. I'll continue to do so. I don't care.
Like, since this team started, we always made a joke that like we just got to get App to champs because he's won twice and he's a notorious champs player. So, I mean, I'm not counting us out in any way whatsoever, especially with the recent update for Modern Warfare. I mean, I've always been a pretty good champs player, same with Jerry. So, I think that's a tournament that really anything's possible. I think the stars could possibly align. I don't know, something crazy could definitely happen.